Rothaus Schwarzwald Zäpfle Naturtrüb.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Fucking hell, what a mouthful that was. Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I have got one here today from the Rothaus Brewery, or Rothaus Brau if you like. And it is from what I can make out, this is a Kellerbier. Now, I've had a few of their beers before, Rothaus. They're actually quite popular over here. I don't know how that's going to work out now because of Brexit and all that, but they are popular in some of the German bars that are situated around London. The one around the corner from me, I'm pretty sure that's closed down now because of COVID. I don't think it's going to reopen, and that is a real shame because they did some fantastic beer. So another one bites the dust, as they say. I don't think it would have been viable anyway. From what I can see, that the tariffs they're putting on foreign beer in this country, I think, well, the prices are definitely going to go up. That's a given. But I don't know how willing people are going to be to put more money across the bar for beers that were normally 20% cheaper. Effectively, they're going up overnight. Sad times, especially for good beers that come from Belgium and Germany. But we are where we are. Anyway, let's get back to this. This is from the Rothaus Brau Brewery, or whatever you want to call it. They're based in the Black Forest in Germany, and they do some good stuff. I've tried their wheat beer, really nice. I've tried their Helles or lager, and that was really good as well. In fact, I don't think I've had a bad one from this lot. And I saw this available, I think it was on Honest Brew. And the way Honest Brew works is, I don't know whether you're familiar with it or not, but you pay £10 a month. And to be honest, that just comes out of your bank account. And to be honest, I'd sort of forgotten about it. I had a look, and lo and behold, I had 50 quid to spend. A lot of the beers that they do, I reviewed before, all their craft beers, which I sort of want to avoid really. But they had this, so I thought I would give this a go. Now, there's a few things I want to just clear up on it. The woman there, her name's Birgit. Now, I've been called a Birgit a few times, but her name is Birgit, and that is a trademark of the brewery, if you like. I think that design was come up with in the 1950s. And if you see the pine cones there, they're significant because they grow in the Black Forest. Now, the word Zäpfle, what does that mean? Literally translated, it translates to suppositories. Now, I don't know whether they're referring to them because they may look like suppositories. Before I go any further, I'd just like to make it clear, I do not suffer with piles. If you do suffer with piles, you have my sympathy. I've never had them, but I've got mates that have had them. They've told me about it on every fucking occasion, and some have even had to have operations about it. I don't really want to go into it, but yeah, they say suppositories are a lifesaver if you've got piles. And that's as far as I'm going to mention fucking piles ever again. But that, I think it translates into either suppositories or tap. So I'm going to assume that it means tap. And of course, Naturtrüb means cloudy. So I'm assuming this is a Kellerbier. Could be wrong. Let's find out. 330ml bottle. It is, what is it? It's 5.1%, and it is, I think, a Kellerbier. From the description, it conforms to the Reinheitsgebot. The water that they use in this comes from the Black Forest. There's a natural spring in the Black Forest, and they use the water from there. They've been going since 1791, as it goes. They were founded by a Benedictine order that had a monastery in the region. And I think in 1806 they had a secularization of Germany, and I think this went to the state, and hence the reason it's not an abbey brewed beer anymore. What else have we got on there? That is about it really. The hops, they do say that their hops are either Tettnang hops or Hallertau hops. Of course, 2 German noble hops, very nice flavours indeed. Tettnang is not usually used that much. I haven't come across a lot of beers with Tettnanger hops in, but I'm only saying that because some of these German brewers don't put anything on their brew sheet, so I could well have been drinking beer with Tettnanger hops. I really don't know. The noble hops are very similar sort of tasting. They do have different characteristics, but they have a fair bit in common as well. So there you go. Anyway, let's stop gassing and let's get this beer open and see what it's all about. Get ye oldie cap off. It's covered in tin foil, but there is actually a design on it. Right, with the collection, put it in there. Don't know what that is, that's just a bit of tin foil. Right, I'm going to drink it out of this because I'm assuming it's a Kellerbier. Yeah, that does look like a Kellerbier. Now I'm pouring it into a pint glass, but it is only 330ml bottle. Yeah, Naturtrüb, as they say, very cloudy indeed. Lovely light colour on the nose. Yeah, that does smell like a Kellerbier. It's got that slightly sour note to it, which comes from the yeast, which of course is suspended in this, hence the cloudy nature. Yeah, really nice. I do like a Kellerbier. Its sourness also can come from the lemon aromas that you get from the Tettnang and the Hallertau hops. Usually the Kellerbier, the best Kellerbier I've tasted, has come from Bavaria, from unmistakably a Kellerbier. You can just get that slightly sour ester that comes from the yeast. When that settles down and the carbonation settles down, that gives way to quite nice fresh bread type malt, if you know what I mean. That lovely unmistakable German aroma. And there's quite a bit of lemon citrus. Still some of the sourness on there, but it's got a little bit more coming through on there as well. Looks nice. Head retention's really good. Let's see what it tastes like. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. Oh, lovely. Lovely long aftertaste that just creeps up on you. That's really nice. I've got to mention that the IBUs on this are 17, so it's very, very low in the bitterness stakes. But that's not the perception you get because there's a sourness to it. And that does come through on it. Slightly sulphurous as well, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's really nice. Sadly, not as good as the Hacker-Shaw stuff. I didn't really expect it to be, but I'll tell you something, this is not a bad Kellerbier at all. And again, the Rothaus Brewery come up trumps. That's a really good one. There is a sharpness to this, and it's almost like a lemon sharpness, which is again characteristic of a Kellerbier. It gives it a very slight, and I do mean slight, bitterness to it. But as I say, this is more about the bready malt and that slightly sour, sulphurous flavour. It sounds disgusting, but it works. Believe me, it works, and I like it. Very easy drinking too. In fact, I should put this down. It's only 330ml. I'm going to polish that off. I want to savour that a bit more. So, what is the verdict on Rothaus Schwarzwald Zäpfle Naturtrüb? Well, it's really nice. It's another good one from the Rothaus Brewery. Now, they're a Black Forest based brewery, and again, this is another good one from them. And I'm sort of coming to the conclusion that these are one of the best brewers outside of Bavaria. They've been consistently good in everything they've done. And I do remember the wheat beer being very nice as well. They had it on tap in a pub in London. It's called the Craft Beer Company, I think. But they had it on tap, and it's really nice. I do like it. They call it Rothaus, which is basically what that translates to, Rothaus. They didn't call it Rothaus. Probably the name might put a few people off, but it was billed as Rothaus Weissbier from Germany, so it's got to be this stuff, and it was really good. And their beers are popular. You see them in almost all the German bars in London that I've been to, and yeah, this is no exception. I really like it. It's a good Kellerbier. Sadly, not the best. Doesn't really compare with the Ayinga and the Hacker-Shaw stuff, which for me are the two best Kellerbiers in my opinion. But this is a good, solid representation of the style. I'm going to give this an 8.5, and that is a solid 8.5. And I'm contemplating whether I should give it a 9, but I'm going to stick with 8.5. That's how good it is, and yeah, I definitely recommend it. The trouble is, this is about £2.50 a bottle, and you would pay probably another £1 on top for a can of craft brewed Kellerbier, which I don't think would come as close to tasting as good as this. So just bear that in mind. I don't know what it's going to be now that Brexit's kicked in. I'm sure the beer prices, or German and Belgian beer prices, are going to go up if they haven't already, and unfortunately we're going to be paying a lot more. So there may be a decrease in Belgian and German beer reviews on this channel if it gets stupid, because I ain't a rich man, nobody gives me free beer, and basically I've got to pay for it myself. I'm not moaning, I'm not complaining. To be honest, I don't really want anybody giving me free beer, because if I do, people might think that I'm being biased. I'm not. I just want to be as unbiased and honest as possible. So yeah, but as far as this is concerned, it's a good one. It's going to be an absolutely solid 8.5 out of 10. Definitely recommended, and I recommend anything by this brewery. Not in a bad one yet. And remember, beer is working class champagne.